There is a lot of confusion in the country, and one wonders what exactly is happening with the Kenya Kwanza government. And this confusion is being created very deliberately by the executive. William Ruto himself has hatched a plan to confuse the country. Barely less than 24 hours after it was reported very clearly that there are clandestine plans to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, where some MPs are being told to pen their signatures so that when they reach the threshold, a motion of no confidence can be taken to parliament so that Rigathi Gachagua can be impeached. Of course, some of the members of parliament from Mount Kenya read mischief and they have said they are not going to be part and parcel of this impeachment plan. But barely 24 hours after those allegations, we are told that the DCI made good, the office of the DCI made good its threats and raided Rigathi Gachagua's office. And even though it is reported that police has grilled 3 senior aides of Rigathi Gachagua over anti-state protests, the truth is the person who is being targeted here is Rigathi Gachagua. This is a story that you've all seen. They raided their current homes over the protests that took place, and they are measuring on the looting that took place, mostly in Nairobi and Mount Kenya, part of Central. And they are a former governor that they want to grill some members of parliament, and they are saying that they have got evidence or something to that effect that they organized goons that infiltrated the Gen Z protest and they looted pieces of property, they torched houses and unknown amount of assets. But I'm repeating that the person who's being targeted here is Rigathi Gachagua. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been bad blood between Rigathi Gachagua and the DCI, between Rigathi Gachagua and William Samoei Ruto. And I want us, the reason why it caught my attention and the reason why I'm saying that the DCI has made good his threat to invade Gachagua is because of this statement from Rigathi Gachagua, where Rigathi Gachagua alleged that the director of NIS, Nordin Haji, is incompetent because according to Rigathi Gachagua, he alleged that when William Ruto appointed Nordin Haji, he was a junior official, that William Ruto surpassed some senior officials who were supposed to be at that position, and he elevated Nordin Haji. And according to Rigathi Gachagua, due to inferiority complex, to ensure that he deals with those who are senior to him, Nordin Haji decided to sack those senior members so that he can work at peace. And that altercation took place, just to remind you, this is how things went.
Where did the rain begin to beat us? Where did we stop listening to the people? President William Ruto and I were the darling of the Kenyan people. By listening to them, by engaging them. And as a government, we have established institutions to ensure we not only listen to Kenyans, but also genuinely understand their concerns. We invest significant resources in these institutions, particularly the National Intelligence Service, for this purpose. It is clear there has been a failure in the intelligence and advice we are receiving, particularly concerning crucial government policies. The President of the Republic of Kenya today has admitted that it has come to his attention that the people of Kenya did not want anything to do with the Finance Bill 2024. The President has now agreed that we need to listen to the people. And I sympathize with my boss, President William Ruto, because this information was not available to him. I know President William Ruto. Had he known 2 months ago that the people of Kenya did not want anything to do with the Finance Bill 2024, he would not have asked his parliamentary party to push it through. Yet, we have an organization paid by the public to give him and government such information. And that is where the problem is. We have a dysfunctional National Intelligence Service that has exposed the president, the government, and the people of Kenya. Had the National Intelligence Service briefed the president 2 months ago about how the people of Kenya feel about the Finance Bill 2024, so many Kenyans would not have died. Property would not have been destroyed. Offices would not have been touched. There would have been no mayhem. But they slept on the job. It had to take people to die, property to be destroyed, protests across the country for the president to know the truth of what the people of Kenya feel. Yet, there is an organization paid for by the public to brief the president and the government about the feeling of the Kenyan people. Officers of the National Intelligence Service, officers of the National Police Service have told me in confidence they did not get advance intelligence briefs about the magnitude of the protest in Eldoret, in Kericho, in Nairobi, in Githurai, in Embu, in Nyeri. Since independence, there has been protests around Parliament. Never have protesters invaded and gotten inside Parliament. Senior officers have told me in confidence they did not have an advance intelligence brief about the intensity of the protest so that they prepare in advance. The National Intelligence Service slept on the job. And the problem is simple. The Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Nuruddin Haji, was a junior officer in the National Intelligence Service before he was appointed as DPP. When he was appointed to the office of the Director General, because of inferiority complex, he chased away all the people who were senior to him when he was in the service, therefore crippling the capacity of that service and making it dysfunctional. And that is why the security sector was caught off guard by the intensity, the anger of the Kenyan people.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why that speech is very key as we try to analyze the invasion of Gachagua's office or the offices of his senior aides by the DCI is because that speech attracted a very sharp reaction from the DCI. And most of you remember, as the DCI Nuruddin Haji, the DCI boss, Nuruddin Haji was answering Rigathi Gachagua. There are two things that he said in this tweet that I want to remind you, because this is something that most of you saw. One, Rigathi Gachagua had indicated that they were elected together with William Ruto, and therefore they are joined at the hip. And that's the reason why William Ruto cannot even afford to try and sack Rigathi Gachagua. Now, after saying that, the DCI did not take those allegations very kindly. And he told Rigathi Gachagua that before his appointment, he was a senior member, and that interviews were conducted and he merited that position. But that's not what I want to talk about. He told Rigathi Gachagua, he was asking, why are you worried about, because Rigathi was saying that he sacked some senior members of the DCI. But the Nuruddin Haji was telling Rigathi Gachagua that, are you worried because you've realized that we have reached at your doorstep with the investigations linking you or your office to the protest that is taking place in the country? That was one question. And that was very serious. That the director of the National Intelligence Service is asking the second in command, that could it be that you are worried that you have reached at your doorstep? In other words, that the investigation was, coming closer into his office. Number two, he told Rigathi Gachagua that they have very serious classified files that still links Rigathi Gachagua to chargeable actions. And he dared Rigathi Gachagua that if you want to know how an individual fight looks like, then shelve that DP in you. Resign today, and we will show you that the cases that you thought were long gone are still with us. In other words, the DCI was telling Rigathi Gachagua that what you thought had been cleared, the cases that you still that were on your neck, on your back, are still there. We still have them in our office. And with that reply, that there could be a link between Rigathi Gachagua and the protest. And today you see the DCI getting into Rigathi Gachagua's office. It caught my attention. But ladies and gentlemen, I know you are thinking, why did I link Chebukati's death to what happened today? And that is what I want us to talk about, so that you don't accuse me of placing wrong headlines. I have realized that William Samoei Ruto has got penchant of hyping things when he is cornered. Because even this one is a hyped one. The reason why I believe that this is hyped is because, number one, William Ruto enjoys intelligence in the country, the intelligence report. And so, before he tells us that Rigathi Gachagua or some aides of Rigathi Gachagua had planned to infiltrate protests, had planned to ferry people to invade parliament so that he could be kicked out from that presidency, and Rigathi Gachagua takes over, he needs to tell us where he was, because we believe that they should be getting information prior. Because if you admit to us that Rigathi Gachagua and his office could plan and organize goons and invade protest and invade parliament without the knowledge of the NIS, without the knowledge of the president, then I will agree with Rigathi Gachagua. Then the NIS has got no business being in that office. Then William Ruto has got no business being in that office, because that means one day Al-Shabaab will come and the country will be flattened. That's why I'm saying that there is a kind of cat and mouse game. Now, I want to give you an example why William Ruto has got penchant of hyping things. And I want to begin with this one. The biggest allegation that we've ever had, ever since William Ruto ascended into office, is when Raila Amolo Odinga hated the political temperatures, when Azimio supporters and leaders were on the streets demanding for electoral and economic justice, when they told William Ruto, you must resign or you open the server, William Ruto came up with an allegation that the late CDF Ogola led a group of people who went to parliament to overturn the will of the people, that they wanted to force Chebukati to announce Raila Amolo Odinga. And with that, he also alleged that this group wanted to kill, they wanted to abduct and kill Wafula Chebukati. That is the height of allegation that I've ever heard from William Samoei Ruto. And so he was confronted that he should form a commission of inquiry or a committee to investigate. We wanted to know who are these people who wanted to kill Wafula Chebukati, because Raila Amolo Odinga stood as the president, and he had the backing of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, who had also fallen out with William Ruto. So we wanted to know who are these people. In fact, Dennis Itumbi went ahead and told us that there was a container of blood where people were being tortured. And William Ruto confirmed that after the torture, people were being killed and they were thrown into River Yala. Those allegations, William Ruto was challenged. Can you form a commission of inquiry? Can you form a caucus to investigate and tell us very speedily who exactly wanted to kill Wafula Chebukati? To date, no one has been brought to book. And those allegations just went like that. They were hot air, if you ask me. And that is why I placed in that headline that the allegations of Chebukati murder has come back to haunt William Samoei Ruto. Why? William Ruto is making another allegation without resolving the biggest allegation that he gave us as a country. Chebukati is still at large. Those who allegedly wanted to kill him are still walking at large. And so one can easily conclude that William Ruto is hyping this moment. He has been cornered by Gen Zs, and Gen Zs are asking a valid questions. So William Ruto wants to get away with it. How does he? He brings up something very big that none other than his deputy could have been involved in planning for the mayhem in the country. And I'm not saying that he didn't plan. I'm only saying that if you look at the character of William Ruto when he's in a crisis, he usually hypes things. Take, for example, when he was cornered and some people are going to court to challenge the new NHIF and the housing levy. William Ruto threatened people, and he was saying that there were some individuals who are working with the lawyers and judges to sabotage his agenda. The housing, affordable houses, and the NIF, this new NHF scheme, medical scheme. And that is the time when William Ruto even said that he was not going to listen to the ruling. He was not going to obey the ruling of judges, of the courts. Just check. Anytime William Ruto has been cornered, there has to be something big. Someone wanted to kill Chebukati. Someone is trying to overturn my government. There are a lot. Now, what worries me in all this is that it is the usual theatrics. It is Rigathi versus William Ruto. No one is talking about the common mwananchi here. No one is talking about the common man. No one is talking about the hustlers. We want to investigate who invaded shops. Yet we have people who died and were buried in some quarry. And then they burnt that place. Recently, we were told that there were another 50 bodies that could not be identified in the city mortuary. No one is talking about the deaths. What we are talking about are businesses. What we are talking about are who wants to topple Ruto's government. As usual, it is the talk about politicians themselves. And this is why I have always maintained that Kenyans are on their own, because all these people, I will say it once more, William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua, Musalia Mudavadi, Raila Amolo Odinga, Wetangula, Kalonzo Musyoka, these people belong to the same class. You might not agree with me today. I know there are others who have done a lot to this country compared to others, compared to their fellows, but they are the same people. They belong to the same category. No one is talking about the deaths. We want to investigate who? Those who organize for goons. And I know it is also bad to touch pieces of property, but which one should be given priority? If your business was burned and you're still alive, yes, the investigation can go on. But who killed our youths? Who killed Denzel? Who killed Rex? Who killed the little boy who was riddled with the 12-year-old boy who was riddled with 8 bullets? So they don't matter to us. No wonder William Ruto was asking whether that boy is still alive. What matters to the big club, the politicians and William Ruto, is who wants to topple his government, is who burnt businesses. And so, ladies and gentlemen, even as the investigations continue, we still read a lot of mischief. William Ruto must accept, if they want to investigate the office of the deputy president, that they slept on the job. It's either they slept on the job or these are mere allegations. And we are not going to get into their fights of who wants to impeach who. We want to demand for accountability. Corruption must end. We want to demand justice for those who are killed. Wastage must end. A corrupt cabinet must end regardless of where they're coming from. You must demand whether you have a Luo as a cabinet. If things are not well, we have a corrupt cabinet, call it out. If you're a Kikuyu and the cabinet is corrupt and you have a Kikuyu in the cabinet, call it out. Because by the end of the day, it is our taxpayers' money that we are crying about. Before William Ruto investigates the office of the deputy president, We want investigation into who wanted to murder Wafula Chebukati so that they can be brought to book. Otherwise, all these are political theatrics meant to hoodwink Kenyans so that we can forget the real elephant in the room. And we will not get to this sideshows. Our eyes are focused, and we must demand that the government must work for us. And people will not relent. If they have their fight, let them fight each other. Let them investigate each other. But we want accountability for the money, because those officers, even as they keep on fighting, they earn huge salaries. They are maintained by taxpayers' money. Their secretariat, their security. And yet here we are being told that people are fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, in the very words of William Ruto himself, Kenya has got a shortage of fools. And that is my take.